Yes, yeah,
How's that
exactly.
going?
Yeah,
How's that going?
it's going very well. To be
Yeah.
honest, I really love it.
Yeah.
It's quite challenging, but the value it brings, the impact it brings, keeps us driving. And I will talk a little bit more about it, because sometimes we think e-commerce is all about commerce, it's all about money and how you can get things moved.
Yeah.
But especially when I go to upcountry and the impact it has, the value it brings, it's just amazing.
Can you imagine?
Just amazing. And sometimes we think that e-commerce is built for urban centers, like people with a lot of money and they can buy whatnot, PS5 and expensive phones.
Right.
But to be honest, in our context, the main idea is to bring real needs to the people who do not have the markets next to them.
I like that.
And e-commerce does not have any boundaries. If you are sitting 500 kilometers from Nairobi, you don't really have to buy only the products which are available in your small town.
Right.
Why?
Yeah. When I look at e-commerce, by the way, and of course some of the disruptive technologies in Kenya, for example, I'm always tempted to constantly try and learn new skills.
Yeah.
So, for example, now me, because I'm not really in the e-commerce space, I'm in the content creation. Well, technically, it's in the e-commerce, but for somebody young who's listening to you right now, what are some of the most important skills that he or she needs to have in order to thrive in the e-commerce space?
Okay. So, I think the young people, what already they have the education on their side. They have the dynamics on their side. They're energetic and they love to try things. So I think half of the things they already have. The other things they need to have is, to be honest, I was reading a book and it says the top 15 skills you need for the future. One of them is be able to sell things online.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if you are able to sell things, because half of the world, if not more, will go online. And if you know how to sell things online, you would not be looking for a job. So that's very interesting. And I said, okay, guys, how more and more people will be able to sell online? Now, not everybody can have their online platform, even though it is possible. But having a marketplace like Jumia and other companies gives you a nice platform for you to start your own brand and sell online.
I agree.
So I think what they all need is to have a little bit of understanding of e-commerce. They really don't need to be technical. They just need to be driven. They need to say, okay, I need to start my own business. I know how to sell online. You start selling on Jumia, you start selling on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, and slowly you can build $1 million brand. Nobody is going to stop you.
I want to know more about you as an individual, honestly, because even when you talk about selling as a skill, we need to learn how to sell. At what point did you actually learn how to sell?
I think, even if in my corporate life, and it's like probably now 20 years, and in across continents, so I have lived around in 7-8 countries, have visited around 60 countries, and I got the chance to work in normal corporate world as well before Jumia, which was more serious manufacturing business. I think from day one I'm selling, to be honest. I'm not selling goods online, but from day one when I went for the interview, I was selling myself. The second time when I was in the business development, I was selling the projects to my seniors and projects to the clients. So I think from day one we are all selling. Okay, now coming to the e-commerce selling part, it's actually not fancy, to be honest. I don't want to make it too complicated. It's nothing. It's just a shop. When you shop, I'm going on the education side of it now. So when you do any commerce, whether online or not, you transact basically 3 things. In nutshell, only 3 things. The first thing, you transact information. So when you go to a shoe shop and you look at the shoe, you are actually passing information from each other. When you look at a shoe, you are actually getting the signals to your brain that this looks like a beautiful shoe. It's nothing but information. Okay. The second thing, then the seller says, okay, this shoe is, 10,000 shilling. He's giving you an information and you're receiving information. Then you say, okay, can you make it 8,000? You're also giving information. So far we are just in exchanging information. The second thing you exchange is the physical item. When the shopkeeper has given you the shoe. The second thing you exchange is physical item. You are not happy with the shoe, you return it. You are exchanging the physical item. Okay. Or you are giving the feedback, you are again exchanging information. Okay, the third thing you exchange is money.
Yeah.
Okay, so in any shopping, offline or online, you exchange only three things: information, physical goods or services, and money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. What about the industry in itself? Kenya is known to have extremely good internet infrastructure, for example, and that's good for the e-commerce space.
Yeah.
But in terms of industry trends, specifically, are we heading in the right direction? What's new? Are guys innovative enough in Kenya?
Yeah. So first, on the internet side, we have great infrastructure. However, today only 41% of Kenyans accessing internet. So when we sit in Nairobi, we think, hey, everybody must have it. You know, everybody has smartphone. So around 55% people have smartphone. 40% people are accessing internet. 60% people have not accessed internet yet.
Wow, that's a lot of opportunity.
That's a lot of people, right? Of course, a lot of them might be kids under 12.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, so which is fine. We are. On the other hand, maybe a lot of young kids are actually accessing internet more than us. So I'm not sure if I'm right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. A small part of it is kids, small part of it is super senior people, but still our internet penetration is low versus the other countries. You know, you go in Southeast Asia, you go in Europe, this number would be easily in 80s, 90s. Okay. In terms of people, I really admire where the young generations are going. I was recently in an e-commerce day. I was in another event. Everywhere the young people are doing wonderful things in Kenya. I have so much hope for Kenya, that Kenya is gonna be, you know, we already hear Kenya is a tech hub. I think it's gonna go beyond that. It's gonna be the next Silicon Valley.
That's what everyone says, man. But but the internet is kind of expensive for regular people.
It's getting cheaper and cheaper.
Oh, you feel like that?
It's getting cheaper and cheaper. And to be honest, when you really see how much money you spend actually on internet in the whole month, you're not spending more than 7-8% of your total spend on the most crucial thing, which is getting you connected with millions of people. Actually, you can compare it with your fuel cost. You're probably spending 1/5 of your fuel cost on internet.
That's true.
And fuel will connect you to probably 400 people in the whole month, while internet can connect you to probably 4 million people. So
actually, speaking about like how you see Kenya going up, so when you look at the African market as a whole, because you're for East Africa, what's one of the potentials that actually excites you most about Africa compared to the rest of the countries you've been to?
Okay, so Africa versus other countries, right? I think first, our population is super young. So average age of Kenya is 19, average age of Uganda is 18. You don't have these average ages elsewhere. You don't have it. No, the average age of India is in late 20s. The average age in Europe is in mid 40s. Okay, so we have lots of young people who are, every single day we have thousands of people who are coming out of universities. And these people are all educated. They have smartphone in hand. They are energetic. They are driven. They have ambitions. So these people are going to have a different country than what we have today.
So in terms of the consumer behavior for these young people, what's different, say, compared to 5 years ago? What is it evolving towards? Because young people are very different. I mean,
yes. So first of all, they have hell lot of more information in their hands than 5 years before, right? And hence they have more choices.
Right.
They have more choices. And hence they are becoming choosy. When you have more choices, you become choosy. Secondly, because they are super connected, they know what they can get. And hence you can get those things. Thirdly, those things were not available. Smartphone average price 4 years back was $300. Smartphone's average price today is $95. So you can afford much better smartphone price, you know.
So is it, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And many more things. I think we were not spending a lot of time and money on computer accessories, smartphone accessories. And so the things which we buy today probably were not even existing. And second, I think the biggest one is that these guys have way more knowledge, awareness, and what to buy.
And options.
And lastly, I don't think now people are running behind super expensive brands.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if you go back in Kenya, maybe 10 years back, your most selling brand in TVs, you want to guess, like, which was the most popular selling brand in TVs?
I'm thinking.
Nivea, right?
No, in television.
TVs, in televisions.
Yeah.
Oh, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Would you say maybe Samsung?
LG, Samsung, and Sony.
Correct.
Yeah.
LG, Samsung, Sony.
These were the only TVs available, right?
Yeah.
Today, you have 10 brands which were not existing 5 years back.
Yeah.
You did not have Vitron. You did not have Vision Plus.
Yeah, that's actually quite true.
Okay. Hisense was very small. So all these brands are cutting down the cost. And that is why the same reason for the mobile phones. Mobile phones, you started with the Samsungs and iPhones and,
Yeah.
Sony Ericsson.
and Sony Ericssons and Motorola's, all of them beyond reach of a lot of young people. Today we have a lot of phones and products made for us, made for the masses. And this cuts across the categories. You have fridges which never existed before. Only the big brands used to make it.
So what I get from what you're saying is these days, brand loyalty, to get brand loyalty from these young guys, it's very hard.
Young
Because they have
guys
options.
is very difficult.
Yeah.
Also difficult because not a lot of young guys have a lot of money, to be honest.
Yeah.
So they're going to go for the cheaper brand.
They're gonna go for the cheaper one, but the cheaper one, you have the quality which is okay for you. You don't have to go for the most premium quality. Why do you have to buy? And I'm not against all of those brands, to be honest, but
Yeah.
why you have to be really wait for buying a Sony and you have to wait for 30 years old, while you can at 22 you can buy a local brand and you're happy with that,
Yeah.
right?
Also, I know she asked about, how you feel the Kenyan market is different from, or East African market is different from other markets. What about the consumer preferences from the East African market to other markets outside, like international markets? Have you studied maybe some difference, and what are some of the...
Well, I think the way I can probably segregate the markets is North Africa. If you really want me to separate within Africa. So North Africa behaves very differently than Sub-Saharan Africa. And then in Sub-Saharan Africa, maybe West versus East is a bit different.
Right.
So even in the people culture, when I go to Nigeria, Senegal and Ghana, people are more dynamic, loud, okay, and and maybe, I don't know if I can use the word flashy, not in a bad way.
You're very right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
You're very right.
Yeah.
they would like, so the fashion category we will have on Jumia in Nigeria and Ghana is different than what we have it in Kenya, where Kenya is a little bit more subtle. You see, none of us are wearing any fancy,
Yeah.
So it reflects in most of your consumer needs. And hence, if you open Jumia Ghana and Jumia Nigeria, all the computing accessories, all your mobile accessories, by the way, if you want to buy a smartphone, it can be a flashy one. While in Kenya, Uganda, it's more subtle colors, more subtle, less. So
you would advise most as MSMEs to get into the e-commerce space in order to target a larger consumer base?
Not only SMSE, small and medium enterprises. I would encourage all the young people. Believe me, it is the biggest advantage. If you have a marketplace like Jumia, and again, I don't want to advertise Jumia, any marketplace you have, the biggest opportunity is for the young people. Let me explain a little bit. So let's say Kevin is a young person, he's bored of, you'll not get bored of content creation, but let's say one day you want to start your own brand, a lot of people know it, and say, I want to start a perfume brand, or a shoe brand. Now, if you want to start a whole company and you have to sell things by yourself, and there is no e-commerce, you need to have the product, you need to have those shoes ready, Either you will manufacture them or you will import them. Then you need to have the sales team to sell them. You need to have a marketing team to market. You need to tell, hey, this is my brand, Kevin ABC. You'll create a brand and you will try to put all the marketing across, because you want, out of 55 million population, at least 1 million people know about your brand. Then only you will have 5,000 people buying your, So you will need a sales team, you will need a marketing team, you will need a small finance team as well. You will need people, you will need the whole logistics. How will you deliver your shoes from here to Garissa and Lamu and Kisumu and Mombasa? How would you deliver? You need logistics. So when you need all that, I don't think there are many Kevins who are going to start company. It's too tedious. Just for you to start the manufacturing or importing of shoes, you need probably already $1 million shilling. And then you need another 1 or 2 millions. Do our young people have 5, 7, 10 million shillings available to them to start their companies?
Not so much.
And hence why most of them, or most of us, are going to look for jobs which do not exist.
Right.
Yeah.
Now take the another scenario. You have a platform like Jumia. Okay, Kevin started so all you have to get is maybe 500, 1,000 pieces of shoes, different colors, different sizes. That's it, in 1 million shilling. Okay, you put them on Jumia, you put them on that e-commerce platform. Your sales, your marketing, your logistics, your feedback from the customer, so that you can improve your product. Everything is done.
Feedback is so important.
Everything is done.
Yeah.
The next day, you might get the order from 300 towns in Kenya.
Wow, look at that.
300 towns. So Jumia has the pickup stations where you order, we bring the item there, you just pick it up from there. We have 300 pickup stations in the whole country.
Yeah.
So in 2 days, the whole Kenya can be your market without you hiring anybody.
Yeah.
You just need to get 1,000 shoes. Either you manufacture them or you import them.
Yeah.
Single-handedly, Kevin can start a shoe brand because of the platform.
Yeah.
And now, 1 million Kevins can do that. When you start to do that, you don't have to wait for the big brands to start companies. It already has happened. I belong to India. Okay, I've been outside for 20 years now, but I deeply connected. 7-10 years back, when e-commerce was just starting, if I have to buy jeans, I can only buy H&M, Zara's, Levi's, and or like
Levi's.
really nothing.
Yeah.
Today, if you want to go buy jeans in India, 800 brands. Who are these guys? Kevin's, Steph's,
It's
JP's, and
amazing.
me.
So if somebody starts an e-commerce brand or platform, where do you think what do you think should be the biggest expense? Where is it driven towards
So
when
you
it
want
comes to managing a business?
You are saying you want to sell on a platform, or you
Yeah.
want to start your own platform?
So actually, that's a good question. Say, for example, start the platform. Because, there's going to be many Kevins,
Yeah.
like you said. So in that scenario, somebody's got a brand. It's called Guku, right?
The brand of the product.
Of the platform.
Okay.
Of the
You're
platform.
talking about the platform.
Yes. Let's start there.
So Jumia is a platform. You're talking
Similar
about
to what, for example, Jumia and many others.
Okay.
Where is their biggest expense?
The biggest expense will be in two things. One, it'll be in your technology.
Yeah.
So when you run a marketplace like Jumia, it's quite a complex machinery. Very, very complex. And I don't want to scare people. You can do it.
Of
Okay,
course,
it's
you're going to
not
start from a
impossible.
small scale.
Yeah.
Okay. But it is a complex machinery because it has all the pieces. You remember all the company you need to build. So you need to build the sales team. But this sales team is not selling only shoes. This sales team should be able to sell from a needle to a sofa. Okay, so you need to build that. You need to have a whole marketing team, which is also not very difficult. What is very complex are two things maybe. The whole technology. So for you to run a marketplace like this, you're probably talking about 25 to 30 technical applications.
Wow. Look
Okay.
at that.
Because as a customer, you are only seeing Jumia as a application. But behind this application, when you place an order, there is a whole tool called OMS, where all the orders flow and our people start picking them.
Yeah.
You need the technology for that. You need the technology for your warehouse. You need the technology. There is a separate app for our drivers. There is a separate app for our pickup station guys.
There's a lot going on.
Okay, so there is a lot going on. So you need to build the whole tech. That is number one. The number two, another expense is the logistics, which means you need to have a huge warehouse where I need to keep thousands of shoes from Kevin, thousands of sofas from JP, and thousands of T-shirts maybe from Steph. So you have like 10,000 sellers,
Yeah.
and they will all keep their goods in your warehouse.
Yeah.
Then only you're going to ship, right?
Yeah.
So there's a huge expense on logistics part when you start it, and huge expense on the tech part.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously this sounds so big, and it means that you're in charge of a lot of people, especially as in a leadership position. So what do you feel are some of the leadership qualities that you need to have in order to manage such large amounts of people, especially in two different countries?
Okay, so in terms of leadership, especially in e-commerce space, I think first and foremost is that your basics of the e-commerce are clear. Okay, what is important, what is not important, and then I'm going to go on the leadership part as well, because I don't think it's really leadership. But you don't really need to be the master of e-commerce. I have worked in e-commerce for many years, but as I said, e-commerce is nothing but a shop.
Yeah.
It's nothing. People are simply buying from us. We are simply selling.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to just know the basics of the trade, and you make sure that I know how the trade works.
Yeah.
In terms of leadership, I mean, there are many things, but there one thing which really helped me is the ability to zoom in and zoom out.
What's that?
And I have never read it anywhere, but I don't know. When people think, me, can you tell me one thing? It's zoom in and zoom out. So let me explain.
Yes.
If there is and I said it right, it's a very complex machinery. There is a lot going on the app right now. We have 20 million products on the app. So am I as a leader be able to find out, go really zoom in, and find out a very small glitch and a problem to the team and said, hey, I think this percentage of the discount you're putting on this phone is not correct. Okay, so are you able to deep dive into the problem, help the team to solve it? And then you also need to be very easily, quickly jump out and think about the big picture. Okay, is Kenya's economy helping me? Which category should I focus on? Should I pay attention more on the fashion category or on the grocery because everybody loves to buy food? Or should I pay attention more to the fridges and this? And that's a completely different decision. Now, how fast you are able to zoom in and zoom out and how comfortably has been my biggest value for me. Is that...
I like that.
Yeah. So whenever there is a problem like, okay, my role actually is that, and I have a great team. And they will come to you because they're already smart people. They will come to you only when they are not able to solve it.
Right.
Okay. So now you should have the ability to understand their problem. You can't just say, okay, grow the social media traffic by 15%. I can instruct it, but will they be able to do it? If they were able to, they should have already done it. So I say, okay, guys, let's sit down and find out why the growth is not 15-20%, why it is only 2%. You need to be able to zoom in and break down the whole thing and be able to find out why, and then help the team. And then 5 minutes later, you are sitting with a economist or a ministry and talking about something very big, right? So that zoom in, zoom out was a really, really helpful.
Wow, that's deep. Zoom in, zoom out.
By the way, when you're launching a new product, for somebody out there has got a new product and they feel like, okay, the proof of concept, people are kind of interested in it, and then suddenly the market is quiet. You're not getting any feedback. Nobody's interested in sampling, even sampling your product, let alone buying. So at what point should you, as a leader of a company or a business organization, know when to pull out and say, you know what, this is not working? When should you make that decision?
I think, I don't think it is related to only a product. It's related to an idea. Right. Let's say we try to do something and that idea is working out or not working out. And I think, and that is also a very good question, by the way, Kevin. It's a very good question for the entrepreneurs. So I meet a lot of young entrepreneurs and they have an idea. Okay. The thing is they get too attached to it. So no, and the balance is very difficult. You can't be too attached to the idea, but you should be attached very firmly to the vision. I don't know, I'll be able to explain it. Okay. So let's say Kevin wants to build, again, the biggest brand of shoes in Kenya. You have decided, that's your vision. Now, a lot of people will tell you, no, this, that, blah, blah, blah. If you move easily, you will never, there will be 1,000 people who will tell you, Kevin is a bad idea. There is already Bata, there is already Umoja. Why you're doing it? It's never going to work. You have no experience of building a shoe brand. You will fail, blah, blah, blah. No, you can be rigid and said, I will do it. Okay, I'm going to build the brand. So you can be attached to the vision. But to reach the vision, you have multiple steps. You don't have to attach to that. You can say, okay, I will make the brand only for the sports. But the moment you see, okay, market of sports is not good enough, not big enough. Actually, the market for school kids is big enough. You should be able to quickly switch and make the shoes for the kids, which is the biggest market. I'm just giving you examples. Okay? So, in summary, you should not be married to your idea. You should be flexible, and that is why there is a term called pivoting. So you should pivot very quickly to the new ideas, but you should be very firm on your vision, because there a lot of people will tell you, you will never be able to do it, this and that. And you say, no, I'll find a way. Okay. So your goal is fixed, but which route you need to take, maybe you are flexible in taking the routes.
You watch the news these days, and there's the main narrative. Okay, I don't want to say it's a narrative. I guess it's a reality for many people. They say the economy is very volatile. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It's not consistent.
Yeah.
What is the golden rule for a young Kenyan in the e-commerce space to thrive in an economy that's not so good, that's so unpredictable? How do you thrive? How do you make your company stand out? For example, even during COVID, we saw certain companies that were really killing it.
Yeah.
They stood out and, they kept on hiring and expanding. Others just crashed. I was reading the news the other day, they were talking about 300 SMEs have closed down already, yet others are thriving. What's the golden rule of thriving? Somebody's starting out and they're like, you know what? I have to get into business. This is my thing. I've got a vision. But he's kind of scared. They're listening to you and they're thinking, wow, this guy has been thriving for some time. What's the rule?
Kevin, why are you asking so difficult questions?
Because that's what my audience wants to hear.
Okay. Look, I don't think I'm the guru of these things, but let me push my perspective. And somebody has really over the period have written those golden rules. One of them is not putting all your eggs in the same basket. Because you don't know which problem is going to hit you. So let's say recently when COVID happened, it has never happened for decades.
Exactly.
You can't really plan for an incident like COVID. You were simply lucky in the industry which thrives in COVID, and you might be simply unlucky in the industry which never thrives in COVID.
Yeah.
Jumia was never planning for it, but Jumia got rocket-size growth in COVID because simply our model was online and you don't have to go physically, and hence it helped us. We called COVID our chief growth officer.
That's actually funny. Chief growth officer. That's what you guys took off.
We took off. We grew by I don't know, 2-3 multiples times. That's our best chief growth officer so far.
Yeah.
Not that we want it again. But let's say, what is the next recent problem we had? We had a problem of FX when our dollar to Kenya shilling rate moved from 110 to 170. This one you can predict a little bit. It happens more often than COVID, right? And again, if you are an import-related company, if you are, again, your shoe company and you're importing all of it, you would start to say, guys, you know what, because of FX, I'm not going to import everything. And this has happened, by the way, with a lot of our sellers. They were importing the whole TVs. Then they started to say, okay, let me import this part. I can make the plastic here easily.
Yeah.
I can make the wiring here now. Okay, so you start to locally manufacturing thing and hence start to have less impact or everything related on dollar. So you de-dollarize your business a bit.
There you go.
Okay, so that's one example. So you need to just say, okay, in my country, what are the main issues I have? If your industry is related to power and you have too much power issues, and we have many countries where we have too much power issues, you need to find a way that, okay, can I have the captive power? I was in cement industry before. In many of our plants, we just moved to captive power plants. We did our own power plants, used a part of it for our manufacturing, and actually started selling the rest of the power to the country. Okay, so there are many, many examples. You just need to know what can be the possible problems and just find a way to detach yourself from them.
I like that. When it comes to business, Steph, have you got a question?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, fine. So for me, I usually believe business is business is like, you got to have a very holistic approach. You need to take care of your health, take care of your relationships, and then all that energy is going to pour into your business. When I'm talking with you right now, I see an individual who's very grounded, very sharp, very sober-minded. What's your ritual like? What are some of the things that you do as an individual that makes you stay sharp? Makes you, you can zoom in easy, you can zoom out, you can make those drastic decisions, you can engage even in a crazy space. How do you stay laser focused, for example? What goes on through your mind?
I would say 3 things. So one, I don't believe in lot of hours of working. And sometimes people think that as a CEO of 2 countries especially, you should be putting sometimes you have to put in crazy hours. But in general, I think 6-7 hours are enough. Okay. But then those 6-7 hours are very, very focused. And I really like that when I work like super focused way. And then you have the time for other things. And now what are those 2 other things? So and again, it's super cliched. I will not be able to give you any fancy answer or something new to the audience. So sorry for that. But one of them is sleep. I really make sure that I sleep 7 or more hours.
Nice, yeah.
And sleep literally helps you. You're ready for the challenge for the next day. If you have not slept one day, I mean, this is very basic. I think I should not even tell more about it.
Yes,
right?
Common knowledge.
Yeah, it's common knowledge. The second thing is, which I think people know it but not practicing, is the sports.
Oh,
a lot of people know it. It's probably as common as sleep. People know it. Sports is good. Yeah, it's good. But practicing sleep is easier than practicing sports.
Yeah.
And probably so this is the opposite, right?
Yeah.
I really make sure that I don't have to make sure because it is good for me. I enjoy it.
Yeah. What sport is this?
Few things. I love running.
No, that's nice.
Kenya is the land of runners, and I will never be able to compete. But I did I think 2 years back I did the 21 Standard Chartered half marathon. But I in general love running.
That's nice.
Just go out in nature and running. I like to play badminton, some racket games, badminton, table tennis, tennis.
Would you say you're naturally competitive because of sports?
You can say that. Sometimes I get that feedback that why you are trying to be competitive, it's just a friendly game.
But I'm just doing me.
I think sometimes I have, like when I play badminton, I play with the coach, and then I tell the coach that your motto is to literally kill me when we are playing. Of course, I'm never going to beat my coach, but he pushes me so hard because I know I have only those 40 minutes to play in the day. I better sweat.
Exactly.
Yes.
I like that.
I better sweat. And that is why I also practice another thing called HIIT.
What's that?
Is high intensity interval
that's
training.
Intense, bro.
It's intense.
What? Yeah.
And I think these are the things with, because when you get busy, you cannot have like 2 hours in the gym where you're chilling and doing, most of the days I'm able to find only 35 minutes in the morning. And in those 35 minutes, you need to really sweat. So I use HIIT as a practice. So I do twice a week, once or twice running, once or twice badminton. Good enough to be in a healthy mindset and physically fit.
I like that.
So having worked in software manufacturing and now e-commerce, there's a bit of adaptability within those industries for yourself. So what are some of the challenges that you say you face that actually built you to who you are right now?
Again, a difficult question.
That's a good question.
How are you doing?
We're digging deep.
I thought you guys told him that it's going to be very relaxed.
Yeah, you said it's going to be
I
chill.
know, this is chill.
Why are you lying?
You guys are getting serious now.
We need to get every bit of information. You know?
Help me with the question again.
Yeah, so having worked in different industries, e-commerce, manufacturing, software, what are some of the challenges you faced that have made you who you are right now?
Oh, God. I think challenges I faced. I think I worked in many cultures, as I said, in 7 countries. And be able to, and each culture has a different way of perceiving things. And I think in the first 2-3 moves, I was struggling. Like my first move was to London. From India, and I thought I speak English until I was bombarded with British accent. I said, "What?
They sound like her."
Yeah.
No, actually, there's some people in London that even the London people don't understand.
So I think it's just the. I think adaptability was one. That how fast you can adapt to different people, and ultimately business is nothing but people, right? If you understand people, what do they want? Like if you understand how Western Africa work and how Eastern Africa work, and you are able to understand, adapt, and there is and you also need to be not judgmental. Hey, these guys like cheap stuff. Hey, you can't say that. This is the market. You better cater for it. And I use just simply, or you can not say, okay, in France these people are too much into this. No, it's these people. So if you want to do business in France, better adapt it instead of throwing your ideas onto it, right? I think adaptability was really one which helped me, and now it's cakewalk. Like I can move easily. I was here, then sent to Uganda. You need to quickly switch. Okay, what's happening in Uganda? I think probably adaptability was all the challenges helped me teach me more about adaptability, and once you do it, it helps you in personal life, in professional life, with your friends, etc., etc.
So are there any countries that you want to go to, want to venture into?
Personally or
personally?
Personally, I have not been on the whole Latin America continent. That is the one continent is left. I want to go there.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, I interact. I have a lot of friends, but I have
Yeah.
never been there. And again, when you're not there, you have your own imagination how it like be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those imaginations are so far from the reality, to be honest. They're so far. Every time I moved somewhere, I say, hey, what are you guys talking about? It's not like that. When I went to Iraq, hey, Iraq was great. It's beautiful. There are people who are doing all the normal things, and all you see in the media is the guns and the silences,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But Iraq was such a fantastic stay for me. And of course, you will see a little bit of what you see in the media, but that's
Yeah.
minority. And Latin America.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's amazing.
So, what legacy do you
Yeah.
want to leave behind when you
Yeah.
move from your role into maybe something else in the future? What do you want to be known for where you are?
I would like to be known for making e-commerce worked. I think we are still in the process.
Yeah.
I would love to say I would be loved as a leader with people. I don't think I am the most. That is my strength, and I would love to. And what is more important right now is that e-commerce works here.
Yeah.
It is. We are not yet there.
Yeah.
We are not yet comfortable that e-commerce, and you have seen many e-commerce companies struggled, went out of business,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I would love to see that e-commerce becomes an engine for economic growth,
Yeah.
and it is not connected to one company.
Right.
I am really so much attached to that idea of having young people a platform so that they are not worried. I was very worried when I was coming out as an engineer in India.
Yeah.
That okay, and you have studied for 12 years all your schooling, then you have studied engineering, you are a great student, and even then you have to be worried about getting a job.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame on our
Yeah.
economy if that is true.
Yeah, it's so
Right.
sad.
Yeah.
Can we build an economy where the young people are not worried? And believe me, when young people are not worried, they will do wonders. That is why some of the societies where there is a government programs that if you are out of job, the government will support you.
Yeah.
These are the people, these are the economies where most innovative ideas come from, because I'm not actually worried about a job. When you're worried, you are trying to find a job, okay? When you're not worried about it, oh, yeah, okay, I can start my own business. It's super easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a lot of money. A lot of creative things will happen. A lot of companies will come. A lot of young people will do great thing. And I wish that I'm able to bring e-commerce to that level,
Yeah.
that it leaves that platform for our generation, for our youth.
You say something so profound. So when you look at the Kenyan youth, right now on the news, they keep talking about how millions of Kenyan youth are unemployed.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
There's a sense of apathy. Are you hopeful for them? Do you think they should look forward to a bright future
Well,
based on the trends in the markets and the economy?
I think the question you're asking is, can they look for a bright future? Is it there?
Is it possible?
It's very difficult, to be honest. I don't want to give a rosy answer. It's not easy. It's not there.
Wow.
It's not even a little bit far and you can go and grab it.
Interesting.
To be honest, it's not. So we need to fight for it.
Yeah.
We need to fight for it. And a lot of people have gone there, fought for it, and some could not. And you have seen, many countries are struggling. Some of them are not struggling. Some of them are doing great. So I don't think it's an easy way. I wish I had the different answer that yet it is just there. You push a little bit and you get there. No, that little bit push is not required. You need to really push ourselves a lot.
Damn.
But on the other hand, those protests which happened here, I don't know if I should say it because maybe there were some government officials also listening. But you guys did wonders.
Yeah.
You created history.
Yeah.
For good or bad, the method was good or not, I don't know, and I can't comment. I'm no one to comment.
Yeah.
But you have said that, guys, we are the one who's going to prove it. We are the one who decides. Not one person, not the government. Government is just the service. It's the officials.
Yeah.
It's like me. I'm, in my company, I can't decide everything.
Yeah.
It's the team, it's the customer who decides.
Yeah.
And you guys proved, your Gen Zs proved it.
Man,
Yeah.
they were out there.
They were out there. Wow.
Kenya is a country that loves to debate. Yeah,
but this time you were not debating; you were actioning.
It's true.
Salute to you guys.
After debating so much.
Yes.
Thank you. To all the Gen Zs out there, man.
The Kenyan youth.
Now I have to change my answer. If you have this kind of a youth who can go on the street and change things, who can kick out a finance bill, you guys can do anything.
I believe that too.
Okay, you have the future ready.
Yeah, I like that.
I really salute you guys. Like, wonderful job. I don't want to say that you did it. Is it right or not wrong? But if you can come out on the street for your rights and you're not scared, and we know a lot of bad things happen during that, you guys are all soldiers. Love you.
Thank you. And that's how we're going to wrap up this conversation. But I know she's got a special question, the final one. Now, this is not related to business. This is lifestyle.
Yeah, this is an easy one.
Yeah.
Back in your teen years, your early 20s, what was that one song for you that made you feel at peace when you'd listen to you?
Oh,
I hope I'm going to have it on the playlist.
Yeah. Just one that you'd listen, you'd skip around to it or you work out to it.
So I need to choose the English one so that people can relate.
Yeah.
Please Forgive Me from Bryan Adams.
Right, that's a good one.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. That's all right. So Bryan Adams.
Yeah.
Oh well, bad news.
You have to check it.
You can try again.
Yeah, look for it online.
So we're very hip, funk, soul music, hip hop music, R&B.
But she asked for the peace.
Yeah.
She didn't ask for the parties. So there we go.
It's all right. But thanks for coming through. Thanks for coming through. We've learned a lot. So many insights. And I know you're adding so much value to our country. You're very resourceful. You also have young vibes, so that's more relatable to us.
What is one thing that you would leave our audience with? Who's eager to start an e-commerce business?
I think just the can do. You guys can do it.
Yeah, really. We can do it.
You have everything.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Don't worry for a job. Don't look for a job if you don't want to. If you want to do venture something, feel free, go out, and it's there. You can do it.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming through. Guys, if you're just joining us, well, we've had an awesome conversation. Actually, it was a hangout with the one and only Vinod Goel. And today we're talking all things what it takes to grow and boost an e-commerce business in Africa. More vibes when we come back in just a bit. We'll be chilling with a celebrity. Yes, he's actually a rapper. It's called Tablaze. You get now. Tablaze was in the industry back then with Prezzo. They started this industry, in fact. Let me put it like that. So, don't miss out on that conversation in just a bit. Right now, let's get back into the music. Calligraph Jones and Bridget Blue. The mark is back. Tunikazi. Go!
Some very nice, mature music.
They really take me back to my days, and I can just feel young again and enjoy the vibes.
Spice.
I'm a great listener of Spice FM.
You play the best music.
This